Welcome back, and just as a reminder, Valentine's Day is just a week away. Claire Dumican joins us now from Vancouver. In fact, you flew up this morning.
I did.
How are you?
I'm very good,
How was the flight?
It was good once we landed.
Yes.
And they said we may or may not get into Kamloops, but we did.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So you have an online-based company for lingerie. It's called Butterfly Collection.
Yes.
And we have some of it, in fact, with us today. And you're here to give us not only some ideas for people who are wanting to buy lingerie, but you have some great tips for men who shop and may not know the do's and the don'ts or the ins and the outs of finding the right stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's talk about
Valentine's Day is such a perfect time to buy lingerie. And it's it can be a little cliched, but if you remember that buying lingerie is an intimate gift. It's the thing that you only do with that person that you love. And so for men, it's a good idea to buy lingerie that she would want to wear, not that you necessarily think is hot.
And that is a huge thing, isn't it? Because a lot of men will go out saying, this is what I like, but she may never necessarily want to wear it because it's not something that her body type looks good in.
Yeah,
right?
But there are some tips you can use to avoid buying something that is not right for her.
Right.
You know, in Italy, most people love red lingerie. It's the #1 selling color in Italy.
Is that right? For Valentine's Day especially, I'm sure.
Especially. But in Canada, the #1 selling color is a nude.
Really?
Ahead of every other color.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
nude.
we outsell nude bras. So.
Oh my.
But you know, Valentine's Day, you probably want a different color or something a little sexier.
What does that say about Canadian women? We're wearing nude color bras and underwear?
But actually, you're ahead of the curve in the fact that white bras aren't a good idea to wear under pale clothing.
Right.
And so Canadian women are actually far more stylish when it comes to not, invisible lingerie. So that it looks like it's all you and rather than the bra.
Right.
So tips for finding out what your lady likes to wear. It's a good idea. I don't recommend going and sneaking around people's property, but you should have a little look in her knicker drawer.
Knicker drawer, I love it. I love the English. They're fun. I love it.
Because this is where you can find out what she wears.
Yes.
You know, what's your lady's preferred color, style, and material.
And the size.
And the size.
Right.
So I know it sounds kind of straightforward, but gentlemen, what you're looking for is a number followed by a letter. So, a 34C or a 40F or whatever it is. It's that kind of combination that you're looking for, because it's a very bewildering thing if you haven't worn a bra.
Absolutely.
Which most chaps haven't.
No, they haven't. And I think that a lot of men actually get quite uncomfortable, right, when they're shopping.
Yeah. So if you are confident enough to have a look and see what it is that your lady likes, does she like to wear something that, we've got lace here and molded cups and what have you, then just stay with what's safe and buy something that looks reminiscent of the colours that she has, the styles that she has. Take a picture on your phone and take it into the shop, and you'll find that people are so willing to help and give you advice.
Absolutely. Another tip, of course, buying a matching set.
Absolutely, yeah. We ladies we're actually more frugal than we're given credit for. And we won't always buy matching knickers to go with our bras.
Right.
But it is such a treat.
Yes.
And, buying lingerie for your lady is a celebration of her whole body.
Yes.
It's a celebration of your love, celebration of your relationship, and celebration of her body. So go the whole hog and buy her, top to bottom bra and knickers. Again, check in the lingerie drawer. There's a couple of, not everybody likes a thong, and somebody might like a short. So have a look and see what she wears and buy something similar.
Let's talk about the fact, and we'll get on with those tips, but being an online company, is this a good way for men to shop? Yeah,
being online, you have you don't have the embarrassment factor necessarily. Not all gentlemen like going into a shop and buying something. So shopping online gives you that little bit of space and anonymity. Everything's returnable. For our policy, everything's returnable. We do free returns, so you've got that safety net. And it does just give a bit more variety as well.
Absolutely. What do you guys specialize in? Obviously bras and underwears. Do you have nightgowns?
Well, we actually specialize in plus size bras.
Yes.
So we start at an E cup. And we go up to, in the summer, we'll be up to a K cup.
I didn't know there was anything like, I didn't know there was a K cup. Let's talk about
actually
that.
they go up to, a company in the UK has just launched an N cup, which is one of the biggest that's ever been created.
Well, they're beautiful pieces that you have on these mannequins here. Can we talk about those for a minute?
Yeah, so I mean this molded cup we'll start with the lace.
Okay.
Lace is such a romantic fabric and still such a classic in terms of, people want that element of, kind of risque, and lace gives you that, which is really lovely.
Yeah.
So this is actually made by a Canadian company.
Oh,
we
good.
use a Canadian manufacturer called Grenier. They're fantastic. A family-run company. They've been doing it for decades, and we really like to support Canadian companies. You know,
absolutely.
We only serve Canadian customers, so it's nice to have Canadian lingerie. And then, you know, not everybody will like the nude aspect of, you know, the sort of see-through. You can see a little extra of our squidge in there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all good.
But then, so you have something that's like this, where it's the full molded cup. So you can see there's no seams. It gives you a completely clean look under any fabric.
It sure does.
This is a plunge, so the central part here is called the gore, and that's very tiny on this bra, so that it gives you lots of cleavage.
Yes.
You know, if God gave it to you, you may as well flaunt it.
Absolutely.
Especially on Valentine's Day. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's the you know, lovely details with the diamante and a very simple look.
What I like about your company, obviously, Claire, is that for women who have a bigger bust, it's not always easy to find something that fits, that is beautiful. Sometimes the bigger sizes are practical and kind of homey. If you go into a regular store, you don't necessarily find what you're looking for in a sort of a fun, sexy fashion.
Yeah, we refuse to believe that there's any age, shape or size that you can't be sexy and beautiful, but it does come from the inside out. So you have to believe that you are beautiful and worthwhile of beautiful lingerie.
Yes.
And you know, we are just expanding our range exponentially because of women. You know, we serve the Northwest Territories a lot because it's so hard to find beautiful lingerie up there. And just because you're living in sub-zero temperatures doesn't mean you don't want to be gorgeous.
That's right. Where are sort of the base of your customers? Like you said, the North? Really?
Across the country.
Is that right?
Yeah, we have a lot of customers in Nova Scotia, lots of customers in Alberta and of course in BC. But I always do love it when we send lingerie to really remote parts, because I like to think that we brought an extra bit of sparkle to somewhere that's, you know, difficult to find.
Absolutely.
That bit of beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any last tips? We still have a couple of minutes to talk in regard to Valentine's Day and getting out there. And
I would say a good tip is to buy a gift certificate. If you are really struggling, buy a gift certificate, and then what makes it extra special is if you engage in the process of buying that lingerie with your partner. Don't just give it to her and say, you know, best of luck, baby, off you go.
Come home looking good.
Yeah, engage with her and either, you know, buy a gift certificate where you can go to the store or buy one online, but sit with her and talk about what she would like. And, you know, as I say, celebration of her body, increasing her self-esteem will pay off exponentially in the kisses department for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if people want to phone you and talk to you about some of the choices they're trying to make online, can they give you a call?
Yeah, you can call us, email us. Our telephone number is 604 200 1020.
200 1020. That's nice and easy.
Yeah, and then the website, you know, there's everything you can need on there. Especially there's a section on there, tips for men, the men's club.
And that is so good.
Because, you know, we love them as well, and love them to love their ladies.
That's right. So. How long does it take for an order to come in for people who are interested in taking a look?
We ship the same day, and depending on where you live, we ship everything for free. So there's no postage.
That's great.
Yeah, just trying to make life a little easier
Absolutely.
and life a little more beautiful. So it can range, you know, depending on where you live. Everything's shipped from Vancouver, so it
That's
can
great.
take up to 10 days.
So really, there is time, in fact, for people who are tuning in from this area, of course. If they order today, they can certainly have it here by Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and if you want to pay a little extra for expedited, we can always do that as well. Yeah.
Excellent. And underwear, we didn't talk about, but I see some hiding there. Did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, just sort of, you know, the idea is that we go from everything as skimpy as a thong, you know, and this is why you need to check what your lady wears, because there's a big difference between this.
Oh yes, there's a huge difference. And if they don't wear a thong, they're going to be shocked if they...
Yeah. And then just a tip on the shorts. This is a beautiful short.
They're beautiful.
Just to make sure that the fabric is really fine at the edges.
Okay.
Because you don't want any unnecessary lumps and bumps.
No, you don't.
So yeah, we have a whole range of underwear.
Fantastic.
And it's important to know what she wears.
It looks like very nice quality stuff, and it's been a real pleasure having you on today.
Lovely to meet you, Susan.
Yes, you as well, and thank you so much for coming up all the way from Vancouver to be with us today.
Lovely to see the sunshine.
Absolutely, yes. Again, if you'd like to check out the online collection, butterflycollection.ca, that easy.
Yeah.
All right, Claire, have a great day.
Thank you.